we're taking a look at Legend Enel. This guy is a beast. So let me go over real quick what he does again. Quickly reduces HP of all characters by 20%. Really important because you want to overheal as much for his special. Makes recovery orbs beneficial. And on top of it, what he does is that he will boost the attack of all characters based on how much you healed last turn. So you want to be healing a lot. And that makes it it's pretty easy to do because Legend Enel will boost the chance of getting recovery orbs. So that will really help a lot. Now, it's important to know, like I said, that you reduce your HP by 20%. So 2 of those reduces it by a good amount. And the reason is because for your special, it's going to deal damage based on how much you've healed over the whole course of the dungeon, how much you've overhealed. So that means healed more than your max HP, healed over. So if you're at max HP and you take a few recovery orbs, that starts to add up over the course of the dungeon. And he'll do 10 times as much as you've overhealed. So to put that into perspective, if you've overhealed 50,000, like with a a Shirahoshi special, then all of a sudden you're dealing 500,000 damage. That's 1 million with 2 Enels. Now that's pretty easy to do just with one special, but if you get meat orbs throughout the whole course of the run, then you're looking at potentially hitting his max, which is going to be 2 million. So the max you'll do is 2 million. So you want to overheal 200,000 to get the max out of it, and with 2 Enels, that's going to be 4 million damage at max. So that's enough to take out most raid bosses. Some bosses, recently they have like 8 million, so 4 million plus a 4 million burst is what you're going to need for those guys. Now, here's what we got to do, guys. Here's a quick look at a team that I know most of you guys won't have. I don't have it. But I just want to showcase the power of Enel in terms of a striker team. Now, this is a pretty powerful combo that we discovered. Eustace Kid, Log Kid, you can only pull him during that limited time event outside of Sugo. I'm not a big fan of those. I've told you guys on video that I'm not a big fan. But he reduces your crew's HP by 80% and then boost strikers for 2 times. And then Don Shin Jiao, if you're below 30%, it's a 1.75 orb boost. So combine those together. Combine it with Shirahoshi, who gives you rainbow orbs. Then you're dealing a lot of damage here. And like I said, Shirahoshi is gonna heal for, if you have Cunning Candy, she's gonna heal for about 66,000. And looks like Mansherry is going to heal for about 25,000, somewhere around there. Probably more with Cotton Candy. So you're looking like overhealing at like about 80,000 before you even go into meat orbs. So this is a potentially very powerful team. But again, most of you guys won't have these. I don't have these. So I'm going to show you a replacement. If you guys want to run something similar to this, a striker themed team, then you could run Aokiji, who's a 1.75 booster, and Smoker, who is a 1.75 orb booster. So type booster, orb booster. Put their specials up. You're not dealing as much damage, but still enough to take out a lot of characters. The important part is having the Shirahoshi for a striker theme thing. You can replace her for anyone else too. Now, the other thing you could do is, because he is a rainbow captain, you could run a lot of different things. So you could run potentially something like this, which is, I think, one of the coolest ways to run him, one of the easiest ways to run him. If you just want an easy time, then you run something like this. Put a Mihawk on the team. Now this is of course a very pay-to-win team, but it showcases just how easy it is. With a team like this, you are going to put him at half HP, around half HP, a little bit, I think a little bit above, with 2 30% HP cuts. Then on top of that, you have an overheal of, he'll heal you for about 55, so you overheal of about 100,000, which translates to 1 million. So that's 2 million before you do anything. So you deal 50% damage, then 2 million at least, okay? And then on top of that, you have Mark of the Phoenix or boost. You deal an extra, around an extra 1 million. So this is pretty easy cheese team. I call it a cheese team because you pretty much just use your specials to win. You don't really require that much damage in terms of actually attacking. You don't actually have to tap. Yeah, you don't. This is pretty OP. Of course, it does require 3 legends. I mean, you could replace it with a 20% HP cut, like Pika or something. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's still, you're still looking at a lot of damage. Okay, a 30% HP cut and a 20% HP cut, and then 2 million damage at least. If you take a lot of meat orbs early on, then you could be hitting for 2 million. I mean, this is pretty OP. Okay. Now, let's look at a pure blue team. We have to run Caribou since we can't run Legend and Enel. In terms of orb boost, who would be the best orb booster? Let me second. I got a. I'm gonna go to the database and pick up who a good blue orb booster is. Orb booster. Where's the orb booster? Oh, Cavendish. No, Cavendish I don't think would work. Bellamy makes sign indoors beneficial as well. Amplifies effective orb by 1.75. So yeah, Bellamy. Let's raid boss Bellamy. Seems like a pretty good one. And also makes 2 orbs beneficial. You got Marco, and then potentially, I mean, we could just Dofi. We could just Dofi if that's something that you have available. This would guarantee 3 matching orbs. Also remember, meat orbs count as matching. And then we could throw in instead of Bellamy, we could throw in someone recommended Vista. Coliseum Vista, I think, gives us 2 matching orbs guaranteed. Yeah, changes bottom orb to matching, so we can do something like this. If we put those together, take out Mark of the Phoenix. You're looking at some decent damage here. Nothing too crazy. Oh, I'm using the Going Luffy Senpai though, so I do have to switch over to the let's use 1000 Sunny right now at level 10. So you're hitting almost 7 mil. Almost 7 mil. Now maybe we can add in like a chain booster or a conditional booster. So let me see, our chain locker. Oh, we could do the new Corazon. We could do the new Corazon. We could do, what else could we do? Look for a conditional attack booster. Caesar maybe. Suleiman. Yeah, let's just try out the new let's try out the new Corazon. The one from the Rayleigh shop. He's blue. And oh, but apparently his special is not in the database yet, so we cannot I can't set it here. But he would definitely add some damage. Means locking at 2.5 means that all your characters will hit for max chain. And also, I believe he lowers the cooldown by 1 for Free Spirit and Cerebral. I don't think any of these are those. So, oh yeah, I guess lower Dofi. So there's a potential team right there. On top of that, remember guys, Enel special. Always remember, with Enel, you have to take into account how much damage his special does. So keep that in mind. Yeah, we could run in Boa to simulate the special. So yeah, that's 10. That puts it at 9 million. And if she's blue, then all of a sudden she's dealing a lot. Like adding a little bit more damage to. So that's pretty good. We can also, yeah, we could try Raid Kizaru as a chain booster. Okay, let me do just Kizaru. Oops. Yeah, so that puts it at 9.3 million. Not too bad, not too bad. Of course, guys, this is before cotton candy, so let's say that we want to add some cotton candy, like 100 attack. Then all of a sudden we're looking at potentially hitting that 10 million mark. Like, I think most people would have 100 cotton candy on each one of these, so that's not anything too crazy. Yeah, there we go. So that would hit 10 million. And I think with the blue Corazon, you deal even more damage. So. And you're dealing 5 million against Quake. There's a lot of damage. The only thing it doesn't do well against is blue units, but of course, green units. But of course, you're not going to be running a mono blue team against, whatever, you're not going to be running mono blue against green. So this is potentially a really powerful team. Of course, Dofi and Marco are legends. Again, you can run those other boosters like Jabra, I think, is an orb booster. Bellamy is a nice orb booster. But I do think Marco is going to be pretty essential. You pretty much want either a Marco or a Shirahoshi if you're going to be running double Enel. It's not required, but it helps out a lot with his special. So this is 10 million, and remember, you can deal up to 14 million, so that's pretty crazy. With that said, I don't know what else. You could do potentially a shooter themed. Let me see, with like I guess Van Auger, right? Van Auger boosts, gives you 2 matching orbs, and boost effect by 1.75, and you can put in a brand new world. So let's put brand new world, then Kizaru. The problem is that we don't really have a way to heal. Current is crew HP by shooter for 1 turn. Okay. What else can we use here? Use Boa, I guess. Put Boa back in. I don't know if these... Can you stack Kizaru and Boa? I'm not too sure if you can stack. No, it looks like you can't. But, that's not that much damage, actually. So, I probably don't recommend doing that. So I recommend I'd probably recommend going either mono blue, mono striker, or that sort of hybrid team with HP cutters and a lot of healing. I think that's the best way to do it. I think that's the best way you're gonna do it. So do either the hybrid healing team, where you just have your healers to boost up the special, and then have like either raid boss Sabo or some HP cutters if you don't have like Whitebeard. Or the other thing you could do is, I think mono strikers I think is not too bad, but I do think that going mono blue, you saw the damage and it's not too hard to pull off. It really is not that hard to pull off. And Legend of Enel is pretty broken. The only problem is that you do have to heal. You have to heal with those meat orbs to charge up the special, but if you're healing, you're not doing it for max damage. However, on most levels, you don't need to deal max damage on the mobs. Most of them are pretty easy to deal with. So I think that is what I would recommend. Yeah, you could do your Raid Magellan as well. He's a delayer, and he's a shooter on the team. But yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much it for Legend of Enel. He's gonna be really, really good. Yeah, if you want to do affinity boost against like a red boss, you could do that. But affinity boost, what's one? Gladius is not something that I'm too like. It's good against certain bosses, but it's not something I like to just run all the time. Like here you deal 6, but you're still better off with the blue. Like you're still better off with the blue team, with the mono blue team against the red. So, so if you have that Caribou man, get ready. You know, get that guy ready, because he's gonna be really, really good. And you know, it's all about that 1-turn burst. I've been saying that for months. The meta right now is 1-turn burst. You have to 1-turn burst everything. So 2-turn burst teams just don't cut it. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next guide. Until then, peace.